Listen to me right now, wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, whatever challenge you're facing. I need you to understand something. Problems are not obstacles. They are blessings in disguise. Every single problem you have right now is the exact thing shaping you into the kind of person who deserves to win. You do think life is about peace, about comfort, about sitting back and waiting for things to get easier. But let me tell you something, life is war. Life is an 80-year battle. And every single day is another fight, another test, another war. You don't wake up and suddenly get to take a break. You don't fix one problem and then magically live in paradise. That's a lie fed to weak men. You solve today's problems so you can earn tomorrow's problems. That's the way life works. That's the way warriors are built. And if you don't want problems, you don't want success. If you think I just need this one thing to work out and then everything will be fine, you've already lost. There is no one thing. Because the moment you win today's battle, tomorrow's war begins. That's how men become great. That's how you forge yourself into something unstoppable. Well, do you know what happens when you don't have problems? You stagnate. You become irrelevant. You fade into nothingness. Look around at people who live in absolute comfort and absolute stillness. They wake up, get their paycheck, go to their boring job, come home, sit on the couch, eat some garbage food, scroll their phone, and repeat the cycle. They're not stressed. They're not worried. They're not fighting for anything. But you know what? They're dead inside. That's worse than any problem you will ever face because nothing changes for them. You need problems. You need hardship. You need that battle every day because that's the fire that keeps your soul alive. That's what keeps you moving forward. Problems are the proof that you are still in the game, that you are still fighting, that you are still pushing towards something greater. You don't want to be comfortable. You want to be dangerous. You want to be powerful. You want to be a man who thrives under pressure. Look at the wild, the animals that live the longest, the animals that are the strongest constantly facing challenges. The ones constantly having to fight for their survival. The lion in the jungle, the wolf in the snow, the eagle soaring in the sky. They are sharp. They are aware. They are alive. And then look at the animals in the zoo. Fed, comfortable, protected from danger, that they sit there doing nothing, existing. And you know what? They die younger, their bodies shut down, because deep down they are not living. They are just waiting to die. You think you want a peaceful life, a life without struggle? No, what you really want is to be tested. You want to be challenged, because that's the only way you will ever know what you're really capable of. And if you're smart, if you're a real man, you will start looking at your problems and saying, good, bring it on. This is another opportunity to prove myself. You think the most successful men got there by avoiding problems, by sitting around waiting for things to get easier? No, they won because they ran toward the fight. They saw a challenge and took it head on. They knew that every obstacle was another opportunity to sharpen their skills, to make themselves stronger, to push themselves beyond their limits. Imagine this, you're in a race, but instead of running, you sit down and complain that the track is too long, that the other runners are faster, that your shoes aren't comfortable. Meanwhile, the real winners are sprinting past you, pushing through exhaustion, pushing through pain, and leaving you behind. That's what happens when you sit around and complain about your problems instead of attacking them. That's why most people lose, because they don't understand that the struggle is the very thing that makes them stronger. The weak men, the ones who avoid problems, who run from struggle, who cry about their situation, they are the ones who stay broke, stay unhappy, stay irrelevant. And then they blame the world, they blame society, they blame the system. But the truth is they just didn't have the balls to face their battles. They wanted an easy life, and guess what? That easy life is what destroyed them. All you should ever ask for in this world is a fair shot. That's it. You don't need handouts. You don't need special treatment. You need a battlefield that isn't rigged against you. That's all. Because if you are truly a man, a warrior, then a fair game is easy mode. A fair fight is all you need to win. If I told you that you had 12 hours to dig a hole deeper than your opponent, would you sit there and ask for a better shovel? Would you ask for an extra hour? No, you would say, is it fair? Is he not cheating? Fine. I will beat him through sheer will, because that's what separates the winners from the losers. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the ability to keep going when everyone else gives up. When I was broke, I heard people complaining that the rich don't pay as many taxes. And I thought, good, I will become rich. And I will play the game the way it's meant to be played. That's the difference in mindset. Weak men complain about the system. Strong men learn the system, master it, and use it to win. That's why I am where I am. And that's why the majority of people will stay exactly where they are, because they refuse to change their mentality. You want success? Then stop running from problems. Start attacking them. Stop making excuses. Start finding solutions. Stop hoping things will get easier. Start getting stronger. That is the only way to win in this world. And let me tell you something, minus 2025 is the year where you either make it or you get crushed. This is the year where everything is aligning. If you are smart, if you are willing to dedicate yourself, if you are ready to put in the work, then winning is inevitable. But if you sit back and do nothing, then you will be left behind. And you will have no one to blame but yourself. The choice is yours. Problems are coming no matter what. You can either see them as roadblocks or as stepping stones. You can either let them break you or let them forge you into something unstoppable. So what's it going to be? Are you going to sit there and wait for life to hand you success? Or are you going to get up, face your problems head on, and take what's yours? The weak will fade, the strong will rise, and the battlefield is waiting. Are you ready? You sit there whining about your problems, acting like the universe owes you something. Let me tell you something, you don't deserve anything you haven't worked for. The reason you're struggling is because you haven't realized yet that problems are your training ground. Problems are the weight room of life. You either lift them, get stronger, and dominate, or you sit there weak, pathetic, hoping that one day life will take pity on you. Life doesn't care about you. The world doesn't care about you. The only thing that matters is what you do about it. You wake up every day thinking, if only I didn't have these problems, if only life were easier. That's loser talk. You don't want life to be easy, because an easy life means an insignificant life. Think about the people you admire, the legends, the winners, the titans of this world. Every single one of them fought through problems you couldn't even imagine. They didn't wish for an easier path. They sharpened their swords, they built their armor, they went to war with life, and they conquered. Because that's what real men do. You see a problem in your life? Good. That's your challenge. That's your opportunity. That's the fire that forges you into something unstoppable. And let me tell you something about men who avoid problems. They get crushed. You either face your problems like a warrior or you get wiped out like a coward. And I get it. You think, if I just had more money, if I just had better luck, if I just had the right opportunity, my problems would disappear. Wrong. Your problems don't disappear, they evolve. Let me explain something about success. You think money solves problems. It doesn't. It changes them. A broke man's problem is paying rent. A rich man's problem is managing millions. You solve one problem, you unlock another. You upgrade, upgrade. That's how life works. Do you know what real failure looks like? It's not struggling, it's stagnation. It's sitting in the same place with the same excuses, with the same loser mindset, watching the years pass you by, thinking one day things will change for me. That's the biggest lie you tell yourself. One day is a myth. One day doesn't exist. You want a different life, you take it. You build it, you earn it. And guess what? It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be the pain you feel, the obstacles in your way. That's life asking you, are you worthy? Do you deserve success? Do you have the guts to endure? Most men don't. Most men fold. That's why the winners stand alone. That's why success isn't for everyone. You sit here thinking, I just want a life with no stress, no struggle, no pressure. You know what that's called? A prison. You want to live in a zoo, be fed on schedule, kept in a cage with no dangers, no enemies, no risks. You know what happens to animals in the zoo? They die faster. Because the struggle is what keeps them alive. And it's the same with you. You were built for struggle. You were built to fight, to adapt, to conquer. The second you stop, you're finished. So you have two choices. You embrace the struggle, face your problems, and rise. You run from them, hide, and get crushed. And let me tell you something, running doesn't work. The world doesn't care about your excuses. No one is coming to save you. You think someone is going to hand you success just because you want it. No. You earn it, you fight for it. Every single day you wake up and you have two choices. You can either sit there and cry about your life, or you can go to war for what you want. You see, life is a battlefield. And the battlefield doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair it feels, or how much you wish things were different. The only thing that matters is, are you strong enough to keep fighting? Well, look at the men who win. Look at the champions. You think I got there by luck? By chance? No, they got there because when life hit them, they hit back harder. They didn't fold under pressure. They became the pressure. And I know some of you are sitting there thinking, well, what if I fail? Let me tell you something. Failure doesn't exist. Failure is quitting. Failure is weakness. Failure is the man who gives up before the fight is over. You try, you fail, you learn, you try again. That's how winners are built. You don't lose when you fall. You lose when you stay down. The biggest lie they sold you is that success is about luck. That making money is about connections. That power is about privilege. Wrong. Power is about competence. Success is about relentless effort. You either become a man who earns his place in the world or you fade into nothing. So let me ask you this, are you going to keep sitting there complaining about how unfair life is? Or are you going to get up, face your problems, and take what's yours? Because I'll tell you what, the men who win in this world are the ones who refuse to lose. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They don't make excuses. They make moves. And you have a decision to make. Are you going to stay the same, stuck in the same cycle, trapped in the same pathetic excuses? Or are you going to break free, take control, and build the life you were meant to have? The answer is simple. You fight. You rise. You win. Now go. Let me make one thing crystal clear. Nobody cares how you feel. You're tired. Get up. You're stressed. Keep moving. You're scared. Face it anyway. Because let me tell you something, the world does not stop for your emotions. The game doesn't pause just because you're struggling. And that's what separates the winners from the losers. Losers let problems crush them. Winners crush problems. Look around you. Every single thing you see, every skyscraper, every business, every empire was built by men who refused to fold under pressure. They had the same doubts, the same fears, the same obstacles. But instead of whining about it, instead of making excuses, they stood up and said, I'm going to win anyway. And that's exactly what you need to do. You look, life is never going to be fair. The deck has never been stacked in your favor. The world doesn't owe you anything. But guess what? That's a good thing. Because it means you have the power to change everything. It means you don't need permission to win. You don't need someone to hand you success. You just need to be willing to fight for it. And here's the brutal truth most men aren't willing to fight. They want the rewards without the work, the power without the struggle, the success without the sacrifice. But life doesn't work like that. You want to be rich, you better outwork every man in your way. You want to be powerful, you better build yourself into someone people can't ignore. You want to be respected, you better earn it. Because respect isn't given. Power isn't handed out. Success isn't gifted. It's taken. And the only ones who take it are the ones who refuse to stop. So let me ask you this, are you the kind of man who takes what he wants? Or are you the kind of man who sits around hoping that life magically hands it to him? Because let me tell you something, life doesn't give out participation trophies. Either you win or you lose. Either you rise or you get crushed. And it all comes down to one thing: what are you willing to endure? See, most men will never make it, not because they're not smart enough, not because they don't have potential, but because the moment it gets hard, they quit. The second they feel pain, they run. The instant they fail, they fold. And that's why they never win. Because life is testing you. Every problem you face, every obstacle in your way is life asking you, are you strong enough? And if the answer is no, if you can't take the heat, if you can't push through, then guess what? You don't deserve to win. You don't deserve success. You don't deserve the life you dream about. Because success is reserved for the men who refuse to break. The ones who take the hits and keep swinging. The ones who get knocked down and get back up. The ones who push through no matter what. That's the difference between a king and a peasant. A king understands that problems are a blessing, because every time he faces a new problem, it means he's leveled up. Every obstacle he overcomes makes him stronger. Every challenge he conquers builds his empire. Every hardship he survives makes him unstoppable. That's why you should be grateful for your problems, because they are the stepping stones to your success. If you have problems, good. It means you're still in the game. It means you're still fighting. It means you still have the chance to win. But the moment your life becomes easy, the moment you have no problems, that's when you should be scared. Because that means you're stagnant. That means you're not growing. That means you're dead inside. Look, the choice is yours. You can either be the man who faces his problems head on and uses them to build himself to something legendary. Or you can be the man who runs from his problems, who hides, who makes excuses until one day he wakes up and realizes he wasted his entire life. And let me tell you something, that regret is worse than any problem you will ever face. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep complaining? Or are you going to take control, rise up, and conquer every single challenge in your way? The choice is yours. Now go, win. You've sat here, you've listened, and now you're at crossroads. Two paths lie ahead of you. One is the path of mediocrity, the path most men take, the easy path, the comfortable path. The path where you stay the same, never push yourself, never take risks. It's safe, predictable, and completely meaningless. The other path, that's the path of warriors, the path of conquerors, the path of men who refuse to be average. It's hard. It's brutal. In ways you can't even imagine. But it's the only path that leads to greatness. And let me tell you something, if you do not choose that path, you have already lost. Because here's the truth, most men will never choose it. Most men will wake up tomorrow and go right back to their pathetic routine, right back to their lazy habits, right back to their excuses. And life will crush them. They will live and die as nobodies forgotten by history, buried under their own weakness. But you are not most men. Because if you were, you wouldn't still be here. You wouldn't still be listening. You wouldn't still feel that fire burning inside of you. That voice inside your head, the one telling you that you were meant for more, that voice is right. But here's the thing about that voice. It does not speak forever. If you ignore it, if you keep making excuses, if you keep waiting for the right time, that voice will fade. And one day you will wake up and realize it's gone. And when that happens, you're done. Because that's how men die before they're even in the ground. They don't die when their heart stops beating. They die the moment they stop fighting. And the moment they accept the life they never wanted. The moment they give up on the man they were meant to be. And that moment is right now. This is your test. This is your battle. This is the moment life is looking you dead in the eyes and asking, are you strong enough? Were you ready to take what's yours? Or are you going to fold like every other weak man before you? The choice is yours. Right now, you decide. You either step up, face your problems, and become the man you were born to be. Or you walk away from this, do nothing, and waste your life like every other control, let fear control them. This is the moment. This is the fork in the road. This is your defining second. What will you choose? Will you be remembered or will you be forgotten? Because let me tell you something, only the strong write history. The weak, they become nothing. Now go, rise, conquer, dominate, or fade into obscurity like the rest. The decision is yours.